Good evening and happy day. I hope you're ready to have a conversation. We're going to talk this evening about take charge of you. And there's about 9 to maybe 11 points that I want to give you. So we're going to paraphrase some things so you can get this, because this is the number 3. And the number 3 means resurrection. And there are some things and dreams and ideas that you've had that have been crushed. And so it comes a time, regardless of your age, that you need to take charge of your life. You put it in the hands of company, you put it in the hands of other people, you put it in the hands of family, spouses. But what is your destiny? When you descended from heaven into earth, God gave you a set of gifts and talents. And the questions that I want to share with you this evening is, how are you cultivating those gifts? So the first one would be, what are you feeding your gifts? And where? And what is your spiritual heartbeat? Now, I'm going to share this with you, that many times people are saying presently, there's a lot of opposition, there's this, there's that. But here's the thing. If you understand whether or not you're a believer functions different than someone who just attends church. A believer is one that walks by the word, not just hear the word. A believer will understand that God will cause your enemy to give you the keys to your destiny. The question is, are we in a position to get them or receive them? So when I look at it, I go back to the story of David. I'm going to give you a couple of scriptures that you can read at your convenience, but then I'm going to go over the 11 points that I want to try to give you this evening quickly. The story of David. And I've said this before, David gave God permission and authority to redevelop him. When you hear me talk about resurrection, there are literally some things in your life and my life that we have to die to and grow from. If we don't die to it or from it, it will stick with us and cause us problems. And so one of the things I want to say right off the bat, and it's not one of the 11, is stop comparing yourself with others and where they are. Here's the point. You can both have the same destination, but the journeys are completely different. And sometimes you're knocking yourself and you're working harder because you're trying to be in this group or you're trying to be in that group. And what you have to understand, their journey is different. Their set of tools are different. And if you're trying to compete with someone, then you're not running your race. The race you're coming out of and going into is a race that's designed for you. Their race is their race. So one thing you can look at is Daniel 9:26 for those that are writing. And what it talks about is the promises that God had given us when we face insurmountable challenges. And a lot of people feel in a lot of areas of their life that they're being challenged. But here's the thing. God will rise and defend and protect those who trust in him. So now you have to decide whether you're a believer. Do I seek God? Do I listen to his word? Do I apply God's word? Do I walk by faith, or do I just go by sight? Because what God protects, he will defend. He's not a bully, but he will defend because he gave you his word. Now, the question is, are you in covenant with him? Now you can go to James 1:22, and James talks about be doers of the word, just not hearers. Because when you just hear and you get into the emotional part of it, then you're deceiving yourself, because at some point you're going to have to work. Now, Isaiah 59:19 talks about when the enemy comes in, and the enemy comes different ways. And the enemy is not necessarily in a person, but the enemy is a spirit that attacks your destiny. In other words, if God's word is a lamp unto your path, the enemy tries to put the lamp out while you're walking. So there are going to be periods and times of disappointment. In other words, this here is how the summation of Isaiah 59:19 says. In other words, the difficulties and the injustice. My talking to people don't change anything, but my being in tune and in covenant with God makes a tremendous difference. Because God will move for his people that are believers. So now here's the sense, and that sickness that sometimes you feel like, this is just, it's just not going to work. Here's what you have to get. It gets God's attention. So what are you saying? God knows what you're going through. He knows the pain that you feel. He said that I'll never leave you. I'll never forsake you. and it gets his attention. But if you're low on faith, why would God go to battle for you and you continue to hide? And I'll say it again, it's time for you to take charge of you. Now, those people that can't comprehend that and compliment you and be an asset to you, well, you have to make that decision. But number one, I'm going to share with you this. Think of it this way. It's not their fault. It's not. The question becomes, is it our fault? Number two, why? Why did you listen to them? Why did you allow someone to draw you into something that was not a part of your gift or your destiny? So they're time stealers. They reprogram your mind to be a robot in their society when you should be working for them, yes, but not committed to them because they're not committed to you. God is committed to you, but we have a lesser relationship with God than we have with people who tell us things because they need us to get to the second quarter, the third quarter, the fourth quarter to meet our numbers. When do we meet our God? So number two would be simple. Are we guilty for listening to people that did not know our destiny? So they tie us up in our emotions rather than releasing us into our destiny. Number three, here's a thing that many people do not do. They do not qualify the information. I heard, they said, they were talking. It was told to me. Have you qualified the information? If not, why repeat it? Why carry the disease? Why be a parasitical parasite and carry something that may not be true? And all it does is clutter your life. Here's what you want in number four. You want transformational information. What does that mean? If it cannot transform my life, then why am I receiving it? I don't need it. No way, no how is it going to help me. Number five, you need to realize there are those who will imprison people with fear, but never equip people with knowledge. See, number four is so critical. You want transformational information. In other words, it doesn't have a lot of sugar, doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. It's just things that will keep you steady and keep you moving forward. And it transforms you from where you were to where you are and to where you can become. That's called being in it's actually in the New Testament. It's really called being a disciple, which is a life learner. So you want transformational information. Now here's number six. Don't forfeit new opportunities over moments of satisfaction. Many people just quit because someone said something, someone said, hey, there's a possibility, there may be hope, and you don't know it's a trap, it's a pit. It's to take your focus off of your assignment. But here's the kicker. If you do not have your assignment written, if you're not studying your assignment, if you do not have it on your vision board, you will find yourself doing things that does not align with where you're going and what you should be doing. So number six, don't forfeit new opportunities over moments of satisfaction. Now here's a tough one. This was tough. I heard it and I said, oh my goodness. Silence your ego, number seven, and watch your power rise. Silence your ego. We shouldn't do things to prove things or to broadcast things. Silence your ego and watch your power. Your power will rise, which means it rises through knowledge and opportunity. So it's greater than that. Number eight, intellect will not only take you so far. Intellect. You can be smart, but if you're not disciplined, you're not focused, you're easily moved, you can go off the rails at any time. So intellect is good, but remember, it's not everything. Number nine, the spirit of faith will take you to your destiny. Oh, why faith? Faith gives you a tool called action shoes. And when you put your action shoes on, you get in motion. And that motion is to move forward, not to stand still, and not to go backwards. Number 9, the spirit of faith. You should have action shoes on. Have you accomplished the things that you had on your list today, or did you even have a list? What is the subject? Take charge of you. You can't fix everybody's issue. And understand, one thing we need to relieve ourselves of. A lot of things that are happening, a lot of things have been said, it's been happening since biblical times. So the question I say to us, whose side are you on? Are you a part of the believers in God? Or are you stuck with the naysayers about things? Number 10, work with your mind, and your hands will have to pick up less. That came from Country Wayne. He said, work with your mind. Become creative. When you become creative and you have on action shoes and you have faith, you will begin to seek out things that will benefit you. I go back to what India Irie said. She said this, you have everything you need. The challenge is other people have organized you when you have not put your life in an order that aligns with God and that aligns with your gifts. In other words, you're in a conversation that has nothing to do with your future. You'll listen to people that's not assigned to where you're going. We have to look at the word and understand that opposition and obstacles are going to be there. If it's not this A, it'll be B. If it's not B, it'll be C. If it's not C, it'll be D. So do you want to complain about the problem? Or do you want to seek the revelation to be free from the problem and be better prepared for the next stepping stone? Why are they stepping stones? You can't get to the top crawling on the bottom. Number 11, I'll give this one to you again. Seek out transformational information. In other words, stop being a trash can for mess that has nothing to do with your future. Because here's the thing, it's like having an office. If you got everything piled up in the office, you know it's there, but you can't find it. And it's going to take you a while to dig through. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh, I forgot about that. How much more time do you have to give to things that give you no time? So number 11, seek out, learn, create an appetite. Retune your hearing so our learning can be steady. I need transformational information. I need things that move me, and I need to connect with those that are going the same way I am. You want to be a part of destiny, or you want to be a part of the crowd? The choice is yours. Take charge of you. God bless you.